What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have our official every Link-1 tier list video. I've been having blast making the tier list videos, and this one is really cool. Link-1s are such a specific type of extra deck monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they're literally the single most powerful extra deck monster that you can make. You just got to make it good. And yeah, so it's a really interesting one. It's also super interesting to like go in and try and rate these because you got to look at it from so many different angles, right? It's not just what the card does, but it's also how generic is it? The context of, even if it's not super generic and it works in its archetype, what exactly does it allow you to do in the archetype, and so on and so forth. So it's like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different things there, and I'm going to do my best to judge them. I also, if I end up looking down at my phone, it's because I don't know the exact effects of every single card here. I know most of them, but some of them I'm going to have to reference the effects here as we go. So keep in mind, these are just my thoughts. It's not an exact science on determining what ends up in what tier, and they're also just my opinions as well. Feel free to disagree and blast me in the comment section because I find it funny. Anyway, let's get started here. I'm just going to grab a random one here. Oh, actually, I want to do all those together. Let's start off with a good one, all right? Secure Gardna, all right? If you don't know what this card does, it like, what, takes another Link-1, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, I want to make sure I got this exactly right. Yeah, he takes a Cyberse Link monster, but he can't be used as Link material, which is kind of tough. But he works with something as generic as Invoked. So where does he rank for me? I think just because, oh, man, I think I'm going to put him C tier. I think before I would have put him B tier, but he literally like became so much worse just because we got Artemis, the Magistus Link-1. And so it kind of made him like irrelevant. He's still a little bit relevant for certain other specific strategies, but I think for the most part, I think he's a, man, maybe he's low B tier. I'm going to put him in, I'm going to consider him the first card in B tier, but yeah. Next up, Dark Infant Agnister. This one is an S tier for me, and I don't think it's close, right? We saw Agnisters. They were such steamy garbage for so long, and literally just this card made the deck like a legit meta deck. Like, I don't want to, it's not tier 1, but it is a deck that you need to know about if you do play tier 1, or if you do just play competitively, because you could run into this and just straight up lose. This card is incredible. It's not just a +1, but it's a +1 that gets you a card that's going to allow you to plus even harder, and that's insane to me. It's a field spell searcher, but it's not searching Salamangreat Sanctuary. It's searching something insane. Next up, Gravity Controller. I think this one for me is also I'm going to put this guy in A tier. I think he's really good, right? He's pretty generic, right? And he actually has a good on-field effect. He can get you easy removal of certain cards. Plus, I think about his utility and stuff like Shadal's, just getting the extra deck monsters engraved to trigger their effects to get even more advantage. I think that's an easy A tier for me, or probably lower A tier, to be honest, but still A tier. Guard Dragon LP, this is S tier. I don't think anybody will gripe and moan about that. I think it's just stupid, right? Summon straight from the deck. Yes, it needs to be set up with another Link monster, but I think the result of what you get off of this card is at least a +2 pretty much every time, because you're always summoning something that's going to get you another resource after that. So crazy. Pisty. I think I'm going to put Pisty more so at the top of A tier. Like, it just summons from grave, right? This pulls anything out of anywhere, whereas this has to, you already have to get stuff engraved, and if it's already engraved, you might have already used its effects, so the effects might not pop off when you revive it, but I still think it's incredibly strong, and again, also needs setup. So good, just not as good as LP, and I think a lot of people would agree on that. Next up, we have Gulveg. Let me check on her, just because I don't know her effects off the top of my head. Okay, she takes a level 5 or lower Nordic, on link summon, banish up to 3 cards from your hand, field, or grave. And if you do special summon them any Nordic monsters from the deck. Wow, she specials like 3 Nordic straight from the deck. Ooh, but you can't special summon anything except for Aesir, and you can't normal summon at all? Okay, well, this card points to an Aesir monster opponent got target. Okay, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Aesirs are like so garbage. I think it's C tier. I think like this card's effects read crazy, but like, you don't summon anything, you don't do anything. I don't even think it's good enough for B tier. Seriously, because contextually what this card is getting you like is nothing. Its restrictions are brutal. The stuff you're summoning isn't good. But I think it's good. I think its effects read crazy enough to keep it out of doo-doo tier. Imduk. Imduk I think is like high B tier, maybe even low A tier. He actually has pretty good utility because he takes any non-effect monster. So he can take stuff like your Eldritch Traps to clear them off the field, as well as taking stuff like normal monsters. If you're playing a deck, we've seen Emancipator use, just unexpected die. And no, they didn't play this card, but I don't know. Even in its own archetype, it's even better as well because it gives you a double summon. I almost want to bump this to low A tier, but we'll leave it in high B tier for now. Really cool card. Megalith Goliath. Oh man, this guy again. I think it's like around here. I think it's probably not as good as Imduk, but you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna move Imduk to low A tier. Like these guys are kind of similar. They're like pretty generic. Their effects aren't insane, but they're nice. And Imduk has a higher ceiling, I think. Just because like in like actual world Chalice, it's like a straight up double summon and can summon a card from hand. I think it's actually really good. Okay, cool. And I think Megalith Goliath is good, but like it gets you extra material. He's good. I think high B tier is good for him. Nightmare Mermaid, this is easy auto S tier. I don't need to explain this. It's one of the few Link ones that is banned. And while we're at it, let's throw Link Cross up here as well. These two are probably the best Link ones we've ever seen in the game, and Konami did a good job because they're banned, right? We kind of hit the nail on the head. Two best Link ones we've ever seen, both banned. Awesome, I'm with it. Lingaribo, I think Lingaribo is high A tier. Seriously, I mean, you just got to think about it. An entire type, right? So it's pretty generic. Just Cyberse monsters in general can make this card, and he's just a trap negate. How many of these cards? How many Link ones are actual disruption? And yes, it's format, and negating traps is like the worst thing you can negate out of like spells, monsters, and traps. But still, I think that there's a lot of value in that. I mean, look at our last couple formats. We have a ton of just trap cards, trap decks, and that's pretty cool. So I'll take that all day. Next up, Abyss Actor. This guy, man, he's either like a high C tier or like really low B tier. I think Abyss Actors are more impressive than Acers, to be honest, and he isn't like fully unusable in like other decks. So like here's what he does, right? You could target any card in your Pendulum Zone, special summon it, then replace it with an Abyss Actor with a different name straight from the deck or extra deck. But it locks you out of normal summoning or special summoning anything but Abyss Actor monsters for the rest of the turn. But that's pretty good. I mean, right? Like imagine like just scaling something, you get to pull it out. I mean, you're not gonna be able to summon again, so you have to make sure like what you're pulling out is pretty good. I think it's just type locked, and it's type locked in a bad archetype. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna leave it in high C tier. But I do like it that I can summon any pendulum monster from the Pendulum Zone. It's kind of nice that way. But I'm gonna leave it here. I think high C tier is probably where it deserves. Next up, we have Link. Which one is this one? Is this Disciple or Devotee? This guy is our Devotee. So when he's special summoned for the rest of the turn, you cannot link summon level 3 or lower. And if he's co-linked and tributed, special summon 2 link tokens. So this guy is part of like this cool little combo. I think he's better than Secure Gardna, and we'll put Disciple 1 tick higher because Disciple is the one that tributes to let you draw and recycle, whereas this guy will give you 2 tokens. Maybe they just kind of go together. We'll just consider them essentially together. I think they're good. I mean, like we've seen them in like Mathmech combos. There are other combos too. I have other decks, other Cyberse decks that can take advantage of this, or just decks that play Cyberse cards as part of their combos, and these guys can actually be pretty good there. So pretty cool. I think they're mid B tier. I don't think they're useless, and they're pretty generic for like any Cyberse cards, any level 4 lower Cyberse cards, I should say. All right, next up, Link Spider. This one's a toughie too. I think I'm going to put Link Spider in low A tier for a couple reasons, okay? I think it deserves A tier because what it is like Imduk, and you're like, but Imduk, they're like the same thing. They're not the same thing at all. The big difference is that Link Spider takes tokens as well to make, whereas Imduk cannot take a token. It has to take a normal monster. And so what that does, it allows certain decks to be able to play through stuff like Nibiru, if you're looking at either like Code Talkers, Crusadias, right? There are certain decks that they just need to go into a Link monster to like open up a cards in their hand. And so this turns a token even after you've been Nibiru'd, and can still get you the ability to play. The reason it's low A tier for me is probably just because it is doing really nothing on the field. Like, its effects don't really do anything. I just think it's so generic. I mean, even think about combos like this. We've seen Phantom Knight combos where they're taking Shade Brigandine into this just so they can make a Verte Anaconda and end on a Dragoon. If this card didn't exist, they literally could not do that. Actually, could they go Imduk? Can't they make Imduk off of Shade? I guess they could. Interesting. Anyway, still good. And it just has a little more than this, but I like his effect. He actually has effects other than that, and so I'll leave him above that. Next up, we have Link-Kuriboh. Link-Kuriboh. I think Link-Kuriboh is probably, man, really tough. I'm gonna put him somewhere in here. I think he's probably pretty close to Link-Kuriboh. He's more generic because he takes any level 1 monster. Yeah, we'll put him above just because he takes any level 1 monster. Put him below Pisty. Which makes him extremely generic. And he has a quick effect, which is nice. And his effect is like not bad. I know we like kind of scoff at it now, but like we've seen it come really in handy fairly recently with stuff like Bird Up, right? You protect your barrier statue by ending on this, and now your opponent has to throw 1 attack just to clear the Link-Kuriboh, and then somehow get another monster on the field for a second attack, and they were like wind locked the entire time. So very cool. Very good card. Magical Musketeer Max. Man. This one's really good. I think this card's better than Pisty. I think this is about as high an A tier you can get without, man, but I did put, okay, I gotta adjust these real quick. Mermaid's the best Link-1 ever existed. Link Cross is right there, but I think Mermaid's probably better. I almost want to just put him up here. Maybe that's too high, though. Maybe he doesn't deserve it. I'm almost second guessing Dark Infant, too. Man, this card's crazy, though. But here's the thing. It's not good going first. It doesn't do anything going first. But that shouldn't change too much. I mean, the deck, like, kind of wants to play going second a lot of the time. We'll leave him in the highest of A tier, and we'll see as we go if like, things will change from there. But still really good. Blue Slug I think is really nice. She's just a +1, just like recurs the cards you use to make her, which is really good. Man, I think for what she does, she just does more than this card. Like, this card's great for like resources and stuff, but he doesn't like actively do something. She like actively gets you a resource. I just think Marine Cess isn't good enough to make this like an A tier card. And she's not like generic either. So we'll leave her high B tier. I think that's pretty good. I also have a Sea Angel, which I think right now probably ends up like down here, like above Secure Gardena, but not above the Link guys. Here's my reasoning on that. Like, yes, she searches any Marine Cess spell. There's one Marine Cess spell. Her whole utility is just being part of the combo. And I guess she's a +1. Makes you want to move her up. I think she's worse than Goliath. I think she might be better than these guys because they have to work together. So like singularly, they don't do anything. They kind of need to like work together to work. She does just get you a +1, even though it's not a great +1, but it can get you to like a Towers-esque monster. So I think she's fine. Plus she has huge potential. So maybe that also kind of factors into me moving her up, right? We could, at any day, we could just get like an insanely good like Marine Cess spell and she would like skyrocket in playability. Tenyi Monk, I'm gonna put him oh man, I'm gonna put him here. I know he's a vanilla, he doesn't do anything, but literally him just existing as a vanilla allows like Tenyi to do such like all their things. If this card didn't exist, the deck didn't play. So, and that's like a fun rogue deck. I don't think they're bad at all. Next up we have Meow Meow. Meow's good, man. Meow's really good. I think just like relative to like the deck it's played in, we'll put it high A tier. Honestly, let's put it above Max. Okay, we'll leave it here. It's fine. This card's insanely good. Contextually, it's getting you it literally allows any prank kid to be a 1-card combo, as well as the fact that it raises the ceiling of the deck. Ending on Battle Butler now means you have 2 board wipes instead of just 1 like you did before. which is insanely good. And if you only need to wipe once, you keep your monster. You're not giving up your Battle Butler anymore. I think this card's kind of insane for Prank Kids, contextually. It's not an active plus, but it's really good. Oh, man, I think this is better. I think contextually, just because this deck is so much better than this deck right now. Man, I'm moving Dark Infant down. I think this is better than Dark Infant. And I don't think he's deserving of S tier. Yeah. Relinquished Anima. I think this is low A tier. It's kind of like one of those things, almost like Link-Kuriboh, but like Link-Kuriboh is like generically better. We'll leave him like somewhere back here. Probably worse than Gravity Controller. Yeah, you only see people play him if their extra deck is so much space that they can just like slide him in whenever. And now we get to this. I think we can get our first doo-doo tier cards in here. Yeah, doo-doo tier. Let's go. Appliancer U. Salamander Almirage. This card's crazy. I think this card is better than Link-Kuriboh at this point. I don't think it does much on the field, so I don't think it can outdo these cards, but I think just like the fact that it allows so many cards to just be sent to grave so easily is huge. I mean, the amount of decks I've looked at that I thought like were really interesting because Almirage allowed them to play, allowed them to do weird combos and stuff. This card's crazy. You see this tech into decks all the time, and it may be a low-key card that just, oh, like my Tri-Brigade deck, oh, I only opened Nerval, or just or Kit, right? Like this just allows you to link off Kit send Nerval, get a search for follow-up. You played, right? Like you're gonna allow yourself to play on the next turn. Small things like that, but that really equates to a lot when so many decks can just throw it in there. Let's move my fat head down. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. Move my fat head down here. All right, here we go. Moving on. Salamander Balinx. This is a really good one. I'm gonna move it. I think it's worse than Max. No, it has the protection. I think it's better than Max. I think it's better than Max, worse than Dark Infant. I think the fact that Dark Infant actually searches an extender is like insane. This only searches Sanctuary, which isn't an extender, but it is a necessary piece for the deck. And then the protection is so good. I think the protection makes it better than Max just because this deck is straight up like was and is better than Musketeers functionally are. Now we just get to like a ton of like really high A tier, like as high A tier as we can get. Kagari, Shizuku, Hayate. Kaina's probably like worse. It's definitely worse. Kaina's probably like, I don't know. Probably like here. Still really good. Just gives you another outlet, another monster you can put in grave to make your access code stronger. Helps you protect yourself in battle, which is important because this deck doesn't summon a lot of monsters, usually just one. But yeah, these are insane. Kakari's the best one, Shizuku's the next best one, Hayate's the next best one. These cards are all ridiculous. They lead you to just like plus. This is a hard +1. That's a hard +1. This one will lead you to a +1 and make sure other cards become +1s and +2s. If they were like +0s and +1. So very insane. These cards are busted. Striker Dragon. I'm putting Striker Dragon in S tier. I think this cards could be on the chopping block for banning soon. I just don't know where Konami's head is in terms of financials and all that stuff, but I do think it has crazy high potential to just sit here. All right, next time we have, what is that? That's the Sunvine one? Where is he at? No, that's not it. There we go. Sunavalon Dryas. If he's link summon in the extra monster and using specifically Sunseed Genius Lochi, it'll search a Sunvine spell or trap. And then if your opponent can't attack it, but they can't attack directly, and if they do, you gain life points and you can pull another Sunvine out of the extra deck. This card's pretty good. I think this card's A tier for sure. I think it's like generically making like plants way better with like the ceiling of like in its own archetype, like with the Sunseed Genius Lochi, it can be a +1. I think it's like worse than Pisty, but better than like the generic boys that just like open things up, right? Like, okay, here's the thing. It takes any level 4 lore plant. So that just makes plants immediately better because they have a ton of stuff that wants to be engraved anyway. It has the potential, if you're using Lochi for it, to just search any Sunvine spell or trap. Some of them are actually pretty decent. And it stays on field. Your opponent can't add it by battle, and gives you the potential to extend even further if your opponent's going to try and attack you directly. So yeah, I think this card is really good actually. I think we'll see a plant deck take huge advantage of this. Sunvine, what is this? No, not Sunvine, right? No, it is Sunvine. Sunvine Gardna, doo-doo tier. Okay, doesn't do fucking anything. Sunvine Healer, doo-doo. It literally like gives you some life points, maybe, but you need to like rely on your opponent to like do it. So garbage. And then Sunvine Thrasher, which is like A tier. This card's crazy. I think this card's, well, okay. I'm going to move Thrasher down. My only reason I'm going to move Thrasher down is because he specifically takes a normal plant monster. If he took just any level 4 lower plant monster, I think he's actually pretty, like, really good. But it makes sense because like this guy's straight up OTKs. You just make him like under a like Link-4. Does he require specifically a Sunavalon? Yeah, so if you just make him under the Link-4 Sunavalon, he just immediately becomes 4,000 attack. That'll just kill your opponent. He's low A tier, but I think he's like right here. Somewhere in there. He's really good. And here's the thing that you're learning here. Link-1s are so crazy good. Look how many of these I consider A tier. They're so good. Okay, Kappa. This one's actually better than him. He's like garbage, but this one's actually not bad. The Appliancer. We have the Super Heavy Samurai Link-1. Probably better than Golvig, but probably not better than the Abyss Actor. Again, it's just a creature of circumstance, right? That like Super Heavy Samurais are so bad that he kind of needs to be there, and he doesn't do anything if you have any spells or traps in the graveyard. So he does kind of like hurt you by like restricting how you can build your decks. Talkback Lancer is a cool one. This one's really cool. I don't think it's quite good enough for A tier. I think if like Code Talkers were better, they would. Like if they were like officially meta. But even like the meta version is gonna just play Code Talker Heat Soul. So I think it's like high B tier. I think it's probably better than Monk, but worse than that. Like maybe not. Honestly, I think it might be like back here. I know the deck is better than some of the decks here, but you honestly don't use them that much. Trap Trick Sarah, I think this is S tier. This card's insane. Yeah. Like literally Trap Tricks like would not exist in any capacity if this card didn't exist. This card is ridiculous, right? If you open it with something like Shade Brigandine, specifically, you can literally just go +2 on your turn, then +2 on your opponent's turn. And then probably +2 on your next turn as well. And the duel's just over, right? You go +6, the duel's over. So I think this card's crazy. Even if you don't go plus on your turn and you just summon this with back row, you'll go +2 on your opponent's turn and still probably be able to run away with advantage. This card is insane what it represents advantage wise for that deck. Crazy. Trickstar Bloom, I guess because it's Trickstars. Oh man. I kind of just want to put it in like top doo-doo. Yeah, top doo-doo tier. The only playable Trickstar that can even make this is Lilybell, and you don't wanna. Sucks. Laundry Dragon. This one's actually pretty good. I think this card's actually like probably we'll just put it next to Kappa just cause. But he's actually removal. The deck still has like no disruption whatsoever, but he's removal, which is pretty good. We have the new one, the Lion Guy. He's actually pretty decent as well. We'll just put him up here in C tier. This guy's also really good. He's actually really good. I think he's second only to the Dragon. There. Artemis. Artemis is high A tier, I think. Right? She takes any spellcaster level 4 or lower. She makes it just because Invoked can play her, like makes her so good, right? I think like because she doesn't have the bonus effects that Balings does, she's probably just like below. No, she's not better than Max and Pisty. I'm out of my mind. I am out of my. I don't even think Balings is better than those. I think she's probably worse than the Sunavalon, but better than the Almirage. And then so let's also do a little bit of that. There we go. That feels better. That feels better. Move Balings back a little bit. All right. Clara and Rushka. This card used to be so much better. Now I think it's like low B tier probably. Like honestly, it's right with like Secure Gardener. Now my head's blocking this side. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, like having to take your normal, like use your normal summon in main phase 2 is like rough. It means you can't make this on turn 1. Still not bad though. It's good for like random shit like ABCs. Sometimes like I could still see them playing this a little bit. And then we have Crusadia Magus. This is high A tier, easy high A tier. The only thing that brings it down, I think, is that it's like, it doesn't do it by itself, right? Like, Like so many of these Link 1s in A tier, like just make them and they do their thing, right? Whereas you have to make this and you have to have an extender to summon to it. It's not the worst thing in the world, because if you're playing this, you're probably playing in a deck that has extenders. I think it's probably better than Artemis. I'm gonna leave it under the Sunavalon. Yeah, Sunavalon? I can't even remember. Is it Sunavalon? Yeah, it is the Sunavalon link. Yeah, I will leave it under Dryas. But yeah, these are my tiers. This is my tier list for Link 1s. I know this video got a little long, but there's 45 cards we had to go over. All right, so here we go. S tier. Actually, let's work our way up. Okay, doo-doo tier. Okay. Oh shit, my doo-doo tier's off the board. There we go. Doo-doo tier. Sunvine Healer, Sunvine Gardener, the Appliancer Dragon, whatever, he stinks. And then the Trickstar Bloom, she has nothing. Nothing wants to make her. Then at the bottom of C tier, we've got our better Appliancers. If they could just be a little bit better, these could easily jump like 1 or 2 tiers for sure. Because they have a really cool strategy. They just like don't have a win condition. Then for these cards, these are like actually not bad links. They read really nicely. They just are in awful archetypes, plain and simple. Up to B tier, Secure Gardener. He's lost his spunk. Same thing with Claire and Rushka. Since we just got more better Link monsters, they've relatively been power crept. Very much so. So they fell down. These guys Link Disciple and Devotee. Talkback Lancer, high ceiling, but other than that, he doesn't really do much. Sea Angel only searches 1 card, but it could be a better card or different cards, and then she would skyrocket to A tier probably. Monk, he just facilitates the whole deck, even though he doesn't do anything, but that's why he stays out of A tier. Let's see, Infinitrack Goliath. This could honestly probably be a little higher, just because that deck is straight up rogue. We'll put him at the bottom of A tier, to be honest. And then Blue Slug. If Marine Cess was just a little bit better, Blue Slug would be able to just jump up a tier. Oh, gosh, let me grab my head, man. All right, here we go. All right, then we move up to A tier. Like I said, Goliath at the top there. Pretty good. He's really good for the deck. He's very, very important for them. Link Spider, generically, just saving you from certain situations. Sunvine Thrasher, he's an OTK, like, facilitating Mon built into a Link 1. That's insane. Imduk, really good in his own archetype, but even still decent in other stuff like Eldritch. Anima, just generic and decent removal. You can punish your opponent for messing up zones. Gravity Controller and stuff like Shadal's, he's actually like a must-have. This is Kaina's the worst striker, but it's still pretty good. Then we have Lingaribo and Linkaribo. I think Lingaribo is better than Linkaribo. It's just straight up a trap negate. How are you going to tell me blocking 1 attack is better than a raw trap negate? No way. Linkaribo is good too. Almirage, very generic. Artemis kind of just doesn't do anything except for just like allow spellcasters to link off, but ask, you know, certain invoked players, stuff like that, they'll tell you this card's actually really good. Crusadian Magius, very, very good. It's just a raw +1 that'll probably get you another +1 after that. Very good Link 1, very, very strong Link 1. Just kind of plays into he is a choke point, which definitely hurts, but a lot of these are. Dryas, really, really good. Can be up to like a +1 and then some, but even just still generically being a Link 1 for plants in general that points down is actually really big, and I think that'll be huge going forward for them. Salamangreat Balinx, it's a +1 that also gives your entire archetype protection, and it's just generic. It's any Cyberse level 4 lore. Come on, man. Pisty, insane. Max, insane for the archetype. If the archetype was a little bit better, it'd move up to S tier, or if he was actually a little bit better going first, they move up to S tier. Infant, again, really good, but probably just not quite good enough to be S tier. Meow Meow Mew, again, really good, but doesn't really do anything on the field. As far as effects go, literally all it does is give you the ability to like either Roar and Roaster or Battle Butler twice instead of once, which is good, but it could do more, right? And then the Striker links, I think they're all amazing, arguable S tiers, but Strikers haven't been that good as of late, so I think like they're probably S tier when Engage is off the ban list, but when Engage is on the ban list, I think they're probably just the highest of A tier, which is still really good and respectable. So that, and then for S tier, Sarah, Striker, these are and Pisty or LP, these are the only 3 that are legal that I think fall into S tier. I know Trap Tricks aren't tier 1 or meta or anything at the moment, but God, she just does so much. It's insane. Striker Dragon's insane. LP, insane. And then the two boys, the only two banned Link-1s that are rightfully so. Nightmare Mermaid and Link Cross. I don't think anybody's arguing on those. So sorry about the longer video, guys. That's going to do it for me here, though. Let me know in the comments, like I said, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? Feel free to blast me. I think it's hilarious. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay. Bye. Subscribe. Whatever.